The United States and the Philippines are collaborating to strengthen Manila's defensive capabilities in response to escalating tensions in the West Philippine Sea, where Beijing's assertive activities are endangering the stability of the area. To facilitate combined military operations, they intend to renovate current sites and construct new military installations. Building new seaports and airports throughout the Philippine archipelago, particularly in close proximity to the Taiwan Strait and the West Philippine Sea, is part of this plan. The restoration of the aviation and naval facilities at Subic Bay Freeport, a location with a long history, is one significant development. Up until 1992, the U.S. 7th Fleet was based at Subic Bay, which is 50 miles northwest of Manila. With the establishment of a forward operating base by the Philippine Air Force there, which will house fighter jets, missile stores, maritime patrol capabilities, and a sizable hangar for modern observation aircraft, this deep-water harbor is now poised to play a significant role once more. In an effort to offset China's expanding influence, the Philippine Armed Forces will be able to react quickly to any new circumstances in the South China Sea thanks to this reintroduced presence. By carefully reclaiming the location of the former American Naval Air Station, the Philippines hopes to establish Subic Bay as a vital base for aerial surveillance and military projection. This location became the Subic Bay International Airport when the U.S. retreated in the 1990s, but Philippine and American military operations have recently resumed, using Subic to refuel, repair, and replenish their ships. The increased military infrastructure at Subic Bay shows a strong partnership with the United States and a clear statement of resilience in the face of China's territorial ambitions, as Manila intensifies its commitment to strengthening its defenses. The Subic Naval Operating Base, which is situated near the disputed Scarborough Shoal and the South China Sea, was strategically established by the Philippines in 2022. This 100-hectare site, which is currently owned by the American company Cerberus, and was formerly the location of the Hanjin Heavy Industries shipyard, has rapidly grown to become the Philippine Navy's most important naval facility. What distinguishes it? It is the only location in the Philippines that can accommodate the biggest ships used by the U.S. Navy. By establishing Subic Bay International Airport as a vital center for combined air, sea, and land operations, the Philippine Armed Forces is going one step further. The airport is being set up to facilitate operations both inside Philippine territory and into Manila's exclusive economic zone as part of the nation's strategic basing plan. According to the Philippine Air Force's bidding documents, surface attack aircraft could soon be able to use the current runway at the former U.S. Naval Air Station to support both land and sea operations. And that's not all. In direct opposition to China's continuous territorial claims in the South China Sea, the Philippines is also building an airport on Pag-asa Island, also known as Thitu Island in the Spratly Islands. The Philippine President's Communications Office has confirmed that work is already underway on extending the runway. When finished, this airport will offer a much-needed link to the isolated island where Filipino military troops and residents live, guaranteeing a dependable mode of transit and enhancing the nation's influence in the area. The Philippines' capacity to handle heavier military aircraft is expected to be greatly increased by these new infrastructural improvements. The Marcos administration has made them a high priority. They are intended to improve transportation, increase tourism, and open up the southern part of the city to new investments in addition to bolstering the nation's defense. These actions are a component of the Philippines' larger plan to make its presence known in the South China Sea's disputed waters. Building a new airport on Pag-asa Island, often referred to as Thitu Island internationally, is a crucial component of this plan. When finished, this airport will revolutionize transportation to and from the isolated island, enhancing supply lines and maybe attracting more tourists and foreign investment. However, as China still claims the region, this action is likely to intensify relations with Beijing. More than 285 nautical miles separate Palawan with Pag-asa, which is a member of the Kalayaan chain. Despite China's conflicting claims, the Philippines has long maintained a military and civilian presence there. About 200 Filipinos call it home, and it's the biggest island in the Spratly Islands that the Philippines controls. In 1978, the government of Palawan Province created a municipality on the island. The Second Thomas Shoal, often referred to locally as Ayungin, is one of 8 South China Sea features that the Philippines claims as part of its exclusive economic zone, along with Pag-asa. A military runway on Balabac Island in Palawan, close to the South China Sea, is another important project that the Philippine government is currently finalizing. One of the key locations covered by the Philippines and the United States Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, this project is almost finished. The EDCA, which was signed in 2014 and is generally regarded as a tactic to thwart China's expanding influence in the area, permits the U.S. military to visit Philippine facilities for cooperative training, humanitarian missions, and disaster relief operations. The Defense and Public Works Department's Building Infrastructure for Peace and Security program, which began in 2017, includes the construction of a 3-kilometer runway. The Philippines' security capabilities will be improved by this airstrip's ability to handle both military and commercial aircraft. It's a major project under the Marcos administration that intends to boost the tourism industry, enhance transportation, and attract new investors to the area south of Manila. The Department of National Defense and the Department of Public Works and Highways are working together on the project, which is 90% finished. When completed, it will be a facility that can accommodate both military and commercial aircraft. Situated at the southernmost edge of the province and the westernmost undisputed point of the Philippines, the town of Balabac, Palawan, holds strategic importance. It is ideally situated close to the disputed waters of the South China Sea and is divided from Malaysia's Sabah by the Balabac Strait. Because of its closeness to China's military installations in the West Philippine Sea, Balabac Island is very important. Mischief Reef, which China seized in 1995 and has since made into one of its largest artificial islands, is roughly 140 nautical miles away. This region is included in the Philippines' 370-kilometer Exclusive Economic Zone, EEZ. As part of the Philippines-United States Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, Balabac is a vital location for the U.S. military and is home to one of the Philippine Navy's most strategic naval bases. In addition, as part of the EDCA, another U.S.-funded military airbase renovation is underway at Basa Air Base in central Luzon. In light of escalating regional tensions, these infrastructure improvements are intended to improve the Philippines' defense position and promote closer collaboration with the United States. As part of a larger U.S. push to improve Manila's military infrastructure, the Pentagon has awarded a $32 million contract to rehabilitate an airfield in the Philippines. A 625,000-square-foot parking apron that can accommodate up to 20 aircraft is part of the renovation to Basa Air Base, which is being funded under the Pacific Deterrence Initiative, which seeks to challenge China's expanding influence throughout the Indo-Pacific. BASA, which has historically housed the fighter squadrons of the Philippines, is an integral component of many programs under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, which promotes tighter military cooperation between the United States and the Philippines. The EDCA, which was signed in 2014, permits U.S. soldiers to enter Philippine military sites for the purpose of rotating troop deployments and building facilities at Manila's discretion. The U.S. Air Force has stressed that the investments in Basa's upgrades are essential to maintaining efforts to assist in modernizing and training the Philippine military. This new modification was necessary because, despite the Philippine Air Force's ongoing efforts to modernize Basa, there is still not enough space for aircraft parking to handle American aircraft. Both nations have emphasized how EDCA helps modernize the Philippine military by building new facilities and expanding training with American personnel. The rate of investment in these outposts has increased as tensions between Beijing and Manila over South China Sea territorial issues, particularly those involving Second Thomas Shoal and the replenishment of the Philippine Marine Garrison, have escalated. The Philippines' only fighter squadron, which consists of 12 Korean-made FA-50PH Fighting Eagles, is currently stationed at BASA Air Base, which was first built shortly before World War II and has been used by both Imperial Japanese and American forces. These fighters train annually alongside U.S. forces and are essential to the nation's air defense capabilities. Manila has developed a new strategy to resist China's expanding maritime presence as tensions between the Philippines and China continue to rise. Surprisingly, this strategy centers on Taiwan, which may end up being Beijing's weak point.